microphone. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you fine.
All right. I'm just starting the recorder right now, and let me call the case here. This is before the Department of State Police in the matter of the impoundment of 1993 Cadillac P-Towed Auto Report number 08-078939, Raymond Karchevsky, petitioner. Mr. Karchevsky, I've made some assumptions about the pronunciation of your name. Am I correct?
Yes, fairly clear. I wanted to indicate to you also that to keep a proper record of this, that I'm recording it also from my end. So we may proceed. Before we begin the hearing, I'd like to make a statement regarding the rules of procedure.
First of all, I'm going to need you to speak louder, please.
Okay.
I hear you.
Before we begin the actual hearing, I'd like to make a statement regarding the rules of procedure regarding the hearing and with reference to a postponement. As indicated.
Mr. Karchevsky, I'll be happy to hear what you have to say, but I have to proceed with this hearing in a particular way.
Well, I must make this statement before we begin because it has to do with jurisdiction.
We've already begun, Mr. Karchevsky.
Well, on February 28th, I sent an affidavit of conditional acceptance and a request for proof of claim containing 23 questions of jurisdiction to...
You are out of order.
Well, I may be, but this is prior to the hearing, and I want this understood because I'm going to be asking for a postponement. Now, I sent these 23 questions of jurisdiction to Trooper Travis Lee and Sergeant Jeff Fitzgerald, the man in charge of the Grants Pass, Oregon Police Station. They were given 10 business days to rebut the statement accompanied by affidavit point by point. As a result of the commercial defaults, they defaulted. Those questions have not been answered as of this day, and I would wager that these questions will not be answered as part of the evidence offered by the state police. This hearing must be halted and postponed until such time as those questions are answered by Trooper Lee, Sergeant Fitzgerald, any superior officer involved in the Oregon State Police's policy making, or yourself, Mr. Yunker, who are operating as the contract agent for the state of Oregon. Now, case law says that when jurisdiction is challenged, it must...
Excuse me, I want to respond to your request for a postponement. Have you stated your request for a postponement, the reason for it?
I just did.
Okay, very well. Your request for a postponement is denied. I do not find good cause for a postponement. And here's what we're going to do, Mr. Karchevsky.
Sir, this must be postponed because they are in default, and these questions of jurisdiction have not been answered. They will not be answered.
Well, out of order.
They are the heart of this matter. If the state police did not have jurisdiction when they stopped me, the whole thing is an act of piracy on their part. I am a living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient natural man. I am not a juristic person.
Listen to me, Mr. Karchevsky. I will terminate the hearing.
Well, then, that's what you must do, sir, because this is what my position is adamant. You will either postpone this matter until they can prove jurisdiction, or you can prove jurisdiction under oath or affidavit, but this must be halted. That is my position, and I've submitted all my evidence. There's no way for me to cross-examine the witness and ask him these questions. There's no way for him to answer these questions, and thus this whole hearing would be a sham otherwise.
Mr. Karchevsky, in response to your inquiry about jurisdiction, as the hearings officer, I'm hereby finding that this body has jurisdiction over the issues presented in the notice and advice rights of hearing.
Then you must prove by answering those 23 questions in writing, sir, as the law demands. For when jurisdiction is challenged, it must be proven. Higgins versus Levine, 15 U.S. 583. No sanctions can be imposed absent proof of jurisdiction. Standard versus Olson, 24 S. Court, 763, Title 5 U.S.C., Section 556 and 558. And the law provides that once state and federal jurisdiction has been challenged, it must be proven. Maine versus Thibodeau, 1 SCT 2502, 1980. Now that is the law, sir, and I expect you to abide by the law. By the way, this conversation, as I say, has been recorded also, and to keep everyone on the straight and narrow, and I will not play lawyer with you, sir. I am here as a living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient, natural man who is not under the jurisdiction of the fictional court, your court, sir, or the fictional Oregon State Police or any other law enforcement agency. For I stand in God's law and in common law. And this court, yes.
This hearing is convened under certain laws of the state of Oregon. If you prefer not to proceed under those laws, that's your choice.
I would like to proceed under the law, and that means that questions of jurisdiction must be answered.
Mr. Karchevsky, if you're unwilling to allow me to speak and finish my sentences, we cannot have a hearing, and I will declare you in default for failing to participate.
Then I will hold you accountable for such action, sir, because I expect that you also, being an agent for the state of Oregon, to answer those questions of jurisdiction, those 23 questions of jurisdiction with this living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient, natural man. If you cannot, sir, you will be in default for your actions. And the sum total of the default is $2 million. Is that clear, sir?
Mr. Karchevsky, jurisdiction has been established, and we will move forward with this hearing.
I do not recognize your jurisdiction, sir. I recognize the common law and the law of God and the law of truth. And you have not established jurisdiction by answering those 23 questions, which the law demands to be answered in writing.
Mr. Karchevsky, I've had about enough. I want to hear from you on the merits of this proceeding. Now,
you have heard me as far as I'm going in this matter. Until this matter is...
Allow me to finish.
Go ahead.
Now, if I am wrong about my ruling on jurisdiction, you will have a right of petition to...
No, sir. I will hold you personally responsible individually according to your own personal unlimited liability in the commercial...
Please allow me to be heard.
I have heard you, sir, and you are just repeating yourself, and I'm saying answer the questions of jurisdiction, or you may do what you want with this, because I'm not going any further. I will hold to that until my dying day.
Very well then, Mr. Karchevsky. Understanding that you're unwilling to go any further, I will terminate the hearing. I will send out my written resulting opinion and or order to you by mail.
Why is it that no one from the state of Oregon or from the county of Josephine is willing to answer questions that regard the freedom of a citizen in traveling? I was traveling, my right to... You hung up on me.